Representative Ortitay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Madam Secretary. A couple different areas I want to cover, but I'm going to start with the Turnpike and the Southern Beltway update, since that entire portion is in my district from end to end. Just wondering if that's still on time, on budget, if we're still looking good for 2020.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're moving ahead with it. Obviously, it's a very important part of what's happening out west on the Turnpike, and it continues to move ahead. Obviously, we'll give you updates. That's 2 years away, and a lot needs to happen. But as of today, things are moving forward.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the construction. I drove through a lot of my district last weekend and saw a lot of the clearing that's going on down there. Just to give you a heads up, we've had a lot of issues out there with flooding and constituent issues with the Turnpike itself. We haven't exactly had the best relationship back and forth. I would ask for your assistance in that. I know my office is reaching out to them today and was working with them yesterday. But would ask if we could have a meeting offline sometime to discuss
Absolutely.
it a little further.
The one thing that has changed since I was before you last year is that I'm now the chair of the Turnpike. And so that's, I'm able to do that even better than I was able to do that before. And I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one and arrange any meeting with any Turnpike officials as well.
Even better. Thank you. I appreciate that. On to another topic here. How many PennDOT districts are there? I know we have 12 numbers, but how many actually are there?
There are 11. There is no PennDOT District 7. That's like the mystery.
Okay.
But they are numbered through 12, but the 7 is missing. It's kind of become central office. So.
Okay, lucky number 7. And what I'm trying to get at is, is 11 the magic number? What's the rationale for having 11 districts across the state?
Sure. Well, 11 is working quite well. That decision was made, not in this administration, several administrations ago. And so each district has a district executive. Each district executive has 3 assistant district executives, 1 in maintenance, 1 in construction, 1 in design. I shouldn't say each one. District 6, which has a very heavy volume, has an extra. And then each county, or sometimes in some of the more rural counties, they're grouped together. There's a county maintenance office, so that's the basic structure. So there's the office that administers everything, but they're really on the ground. They're the ones that are, dealing with the constituents, dealing with our municipalities, dealing with our communities that host our assets, going out there and dealing with the design, construction, and maintenance issues.
Have you looked or have any plans of looking at possibly a more efficient model that, with today's technology, I know this decision was made years ago, that makes it easier for a more centralized approach that's more consistent? I know I deal with 2 different PennDOT districts with my House seat, and they operate very differently at times, and it can be very confusing for me and my constituents.
Yeah, we're trying to make that more consistent across districts. Each district does tend to get its own character and how it deals with it, and sometimes that's a really good thing because each area is very different, as you can imagine. But we definitely want to make that as easy as possible. We do have a central office that does take into account where we have economies of scale, where we can handle things from one central office and then divvy it out. But it's very important to have people working in areas that are familiar with those areas and most often, more than not, live in those areas as well. So we're not looking at that right now, but if you have anything that you'd like us to take a look at, we're always looking at ways to improve our services.
Okay, I wanted to bring that up. I do have a bill in Transportation Committee. It's basically a study to see if there's anything we can do on the consolidation end of the actual physical offices themselves, not so much the maintenance sheds and storage sheds like that, because I know that obviously they have so much land to cover. But I was looking at it more of we had talked about consistency, maybe with the use of technology, lowering cost, and making things move a little bit faster and efficiently. I know with the special funds hearings, we talked about getting permits and just working across the different districts. Said it can be time consuming and labor intensive at times, but I just wanted to throw that part out there to see if you guys had looked at it. And again, I'm happy to have this conversation with you further as we move on.
I'd like to as well. A lot of stuff is centralized, like our IT service, things that make sense, that are real easy to do. But we'll take a look at, and obviously if there's other things that we can improve. I will tell you, I'm very comfortable with how it's operating right now at the 11 districts, especially during our winter operations, which is a big part of what we do, and how we, share personnel and equipment and make sure that everything is where it needs to be.
And in full disclosure, I have one located right in my district anyway, so I'm happy with it there. I'm just looking at trying to figure out ways that we can improve government, streamline it. Just one idea that I had, but
Sure.
appreciate your responses.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Madam Secretary.